This is a gorgeous, gorgeous champagne. You don't need a degree to enjoy these wines. You can totally smell it. This is a gorgeous champagne. Hey guys, and welcome to Lowbrow Bubbles, where every day is a celebration and you don't need a degree to enjoy a glass of wine. I'm your host, Emily, and today I'm super excited to share two fun champagne sparkling wines with you. One is a brand you probably heard of, Moet et Chandon, and they're located in Épernay. They're located in Épernay, France. It's one of those hard French words to pronounce. And the second is their sister winery, Chandon. So you've probably seen this in the liquor store, and you might not have made the connection that it is the sister winery of Moet et Chandon. Moet et Chandon is classic style of champagne. It was founded in 1743. The first winery that they opened outside of France was in the Napa Valley when they opened Chandon Winery. So you can see here on the bottle, it actually says Method Traditionnel. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. That's a great thing to look for when you're looking for bargain sparkling wines or an affordable champagne, because that means it underwent a secondary fermentation in the bottle, among other things. And you're going to get some of those softer champagne type bubbles that you won't necessarily get in sparkling wines that have undergone honestly cheaper, quicker methods of carbonating the wine. So that Method Traditionnel is a great thing to look for when you're looking for an affordable bubbly. So I'm really excited to taste both of these side by side. First of all, let me state the obvious. You may notice that I do not have backsplash in my kitchen, and I also do not have countertops. You would be correct. I have been redoing my kitchen for going on 3 months now, and I'm super done. So hopefully the next time that we're tasting wine together, I will have a beautiful backsplash to share with you all. So let's go ahead and pour some of these. I do have some cheap champagne flutes. I think these are from World Market. You can absolutely drink your champagne in a white wine glass if you prefer. I do that sometimes. I have some varietal specific glasses, all that jazz. But you know, at Lowbrow Bubbles, we're all about making things accessible and easy. And so if you're just drinking wine on a Tuesday, I mean, I do think it's fun to just have a normal champagne flute that you might have seen. So as I pour it, I don't know if you can see, you can already tell just by the color that this is a gorgeous, gorgeous champagne. And you can see the fun bubbles there. Those are pretty fine bubbles, and they're swirling in kind of a clockwise fashion on the glass. So you can see those are pretty fine bubbles there, which is a good thing. That's a good indication to me that this was obviously made in the traditional champagne method. And again, when you're going with a big name, big brand winery like this, what you're paying for is the consistency of the product, but you're also paying for the marketing, honestly. And that being said, I mean, Moet et Chandon is one of my favorite big name champagnes. It's a very consistent product. It's relatively affordable. I got this for a little under $50 at my local liquor store. And I know you've dropped $50 at the bar. So if you can do that, you can pick up a traditional bottle of classic champagne and enjoy it. So I think, although it is traditional champagne and it's obviously a little bit of a higher price point, you know, Lowbrow Bubbles is all about enjoying good things, not just because they're expensive, but because they're good. And so try it and see if you like it. I think it's well within reach. You know, it's $50, you know. If you are curious at all, I would encourage you to pick it up and try it. I actually think it's a great entry-level champagne. I say all this because I do enjoy it. I've had it before. Let's go ahead and actually taste it. And right off the bat, you can tell this has spent some time. It's called aging on the lees. And so one of the steps of champagne making is the champagne aging in the bottle with the dead yeast cells, honestly, that were used to create that secondary fermentation in the bottle. They spend, 12 to 24 months, something like that. Aging on the lees is what it's called. The yeast that was used to produce the wine and produce the alcohol is left to age in that bottle. And that's one of the hallmarks of traditional champagne making and why it is a little bit more expensive than a sparkling wine, where you can just create a still wine and then carbonated after the fact, is that aging process means that it takes longer from producing this wine to actually getting it in your hand. So that's naturally a more labor intensive, more expensive process. The point of all that is that you can totally smell it. It smells like yeast and bread and brioche and maybe even a little bit of hazelnut. And then with a lot of champagnes, I do get some citrus notes as well. I get maybe lemon peel and some tart underripe fruit. That's one of the magical things about champagne to me is you have this rich, bready yeastiness, and then you also have this lean, citrusy acidity, and they just really balance each other out. So that's enough talking about it. Let's actually taste it. And I mean, this is a gorgeous champagne. That's what you get when you've been doing this since 1743. It's very well balanced. You could drink it on your own. You could drink it with food. And it's just a gorgeous bottle. Like I said, with the big name champagne growers, you are paying a little bit for the marketing, but they have the marketing down. And this is the imperial style. Moet et Chandon makes several different styles. They say a bright fruitiness and an elegant maturity. So the bright fruitiness would be a little bit of that citrus that I was referring to. You could get a little bit of underripe pear, like tart pear I could see. And then the elegant maturity, that's the whole aging on the lees process I was referring to. That's what gives it a little bit of its richness. So that's a super fun wine. It's I think a good go-to. Like I said, it's affordable as far as champagne goes, and I think it's not out of reach. So let's go ahead and pour some of the Chandon. And again, this is the same Chandon as in Moet et Chandon. So if you haven't made that connection before, now you can. And then look at these bubbles. If you notice how much more heavily carbonated that is, it is the method traditionnel, like I said. But if you look at the quantity and the veracity of the bubbles, this one's the Chandon, and this one is the Moet et Chandon. And they have been sitting there for a minute, but still, if you remember when I poured them both in, the Moet et Chandon has much more refined carbonation, maybe you could say. Not a bad thing. I like carbonated wines. I mean, one of the reasons we love champagne is that it's fun and bubbly. So Chandon was founded in 1959. I thought it was a little bit later than that, honestly, but the internet doesn't lie. Oh yeah, it says 1959 right here on the bottle. And it says a world of possibilities. So again, it's made in method traditionnel, which means that it's mimicking the production of champagne. Another thing to look for when you are looking for a bottle of champagne is that this is made with Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Meunier grapes. Each of those grapes adds something different. It's like cooking. It's like different spices. Each one of them adds a different quality to the finished wine. Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Meunier, that specific combination is what we're used to in the taste of champagne. And so when you're looking for champagne, when you're looking for a bargain champagne, it'd be really helpful to memorize those grapes. It doesn't say here on the champagne bottle because that would be heresy in France. But Moet et Chandon is also made with those three grapes. I found gorgeous South African sparkling wines. I always eyeball wines with that specific combination of grapes because you know that they're going for the traditional champagne style if they use those three grapes. So again, that's Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Meunier grapes. So let's try the Chandon. And right off the nose, this is a lot crisper. Definitely tart apple. Let's see. You still get citrus. I always get citrus on champagne, I think. And maybe a teensy bit of a floral note. But it's a lot, I call it leaner. It's a lot leaner than the Moet et Chandon. And that's not a bad thing. I've, paid 2 or 3 times this much for gorgeous champagnes that are very lean and very minerally. But this Moet de Chandon is a lot softer just on the nose. So again, I honestly think this is a great entry-level champagne. If you haven't ever had champagne before in your life, this is a pretty soft, approachable variety. So back to the Chandon. Let's go ahead and taste it. And yeah, it tastes how I would expect from the nose. That's yummy though. It's not one note. I do find that in some of the very affordable Proseccos that I would use for mimosas, things like that, it is kind of one note. It's kind of acidic, and that's almost it. Acidic and bubbly. And I love those. I drink those. But this does have a lot more going on. I would serve this at dinner without hesitation. I would serve this at a New Year's Eve party with all those frozen Trader Joe's appetizers. This would be perfect for that, honestly. It has a little bit of roundness and fullness. Like I said, it tastes like crisp, underripe fruit. It smells like crisp, underripe fruit on the nose. But it tastes a little riper than that, like a perfectly ripe pear is what it tastes like, even though it smells like tart lemon and citrus and maybe some underripe pear or underripe apple. So again, you don't need a degree to enjoy these wines, but it is fun to point out and notice the differences for yourself. And it really comes to personal preference at the end of the day. Drink what you like. I would drink this without hesitation on a Tuesday night. I think sparkling wine is one of the most food-friendly wines in the world. I mean, you could have this with chicken, like I said, at a party, honestly, at a Super Bowl party, anything. This would be phenomenal. And then this is just a gorgeous, yummy, classic champagne. I mean, there's nothing not to love about it, I think. And if you don't do that initial smell and really try to pick up what you're smelling, it's just a very soft, rich, complex wine. I would tend to enjoy this on its own. But again, I do consider champagne one of the most food-friendly wines. Maybe one time on the show, we'll do a little pairing. You have like a rich, yummy, meaty, bready chicken, right? And it really would pick up the bread notes from the champagne. So maybe we'll do that one time on the show. But again, drink what you like, drink what you enjoy, and make it fun. I'm Emily here at Lowbrow Bubbles, and I can't wait to sip some bubbles with you.